Kenyans have regrettably lost lives, many have been injured, property destroyed, and our institutions, especially constitutional institutions, attacked. Once again, I extend my deepest condolences to those who unfortunately lost their lives. One life, as we all know, lost is a life too many. To the mothers, fathers, siblings, relatives, and friends of those who lost their lives, my deepest sympathies and condolences to you all. Equally, to the many others who are injured and recuperating, I wish them quick recovery. The government of Kenya will support all those who've lost their lives and those who've been injured. Despite all this, as a nation, we are finally discussing issues. We are not discussing tribes, personalities, or political formations, but rather we are discussing issues that affect each and every one of us. Debt, budget, corruption, the cost of living, unemployment, and opportunities for all Kenyans, especially our young people. If you go back on my Twitter account, I made a commitment to the country in 2019-2020 that the conversation in Kenya is going to change. It is not going to be about personalities. It is not going to be about positions. It is not going to be about tribes. It is going to be about issues. Today, that situation is true, that we are having a conversation about issues in our country. We must all be proud of ourselves that we have managed to elevate the debate in our country to the level of issues that affect all of us. I am very happy that we are having a conversation about jobs for our young people, about opportunities for business, about manufacturing, about taxation, about debt, and all the other things that are important to all of us. I make this statement to highlight the actions taken in response to the overwhelming public feedback in the recent days, and to fulfill my commitment to continuously and effectively listen to the people of Kenya, and to underscore my intention to always take public contributions, applying them to enrich policy making, governance, and government programs. Public debt is and continues to be a major point of engagement and conversation in Kenya. I have today appointed an independent task force to carry out a comprehensive forensic audit over our public debt and report to us in the next 3 months. This audit will provide the people of Kenya with clarity on the extent and nature of our debt, how public resources have been expended, and will also recommend proposals for managing our public debt in a manner that is sustainable and does not burden future generations. Of withdrawing the finance bill is the reduction of our revenue targets by 346 billion. Over the last few days, our Treasury team has been assessing the adverse impact of either reducing the budget by 346 billion in full or borrowing the 346 billion in full. And cutting the entire amount in our assessment would significantly and drastically affect the delivery of critical government services, while borrowing the whole amount will occasion a fiscal deficit by a margin that would have significant repercussions on many sectors, including our exchange rates and interest rates. We have since, after extensive consultations, struck a middle ground, and we will be proposing to the National Assembly a budget cut of not the entire 346, but a budget cut of 177 billion, and borrowing the difference. Whatever we are going to borrow, the difference, will increase our fiscal deficit from what I intended to be 3.3% of our GDP. It will now go up to 4.6% of GDP, still lower than last year, and will be used to fund some of our critical government services. We will use the money that we will borrow to protect funding for some of that are in many parts of Kenya, retaining the fertilizer subsidy program that has helped us manage our cost of living, settling the debt owed to farmers in our coffee sector, capitalizing the coffee cherry fund to support our farmers in that sector, enabling public-owned sugar mills to pay outstanding debts to sugarcane farmers for their deliveries, additional funding for higher education, new funding model that was in our plan will now receive additional funding, settling arrears owed to counties, settling arrears for NGCDF, and settling arrears for our pensions. Accordingly, in keeping with the enhanced austerity measures we have committed to implement and align government expenditures within the budgetary implications of the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024, the following actions shall be taken with immediate effect towards the realization of the new budget. 47 state corporations with overlapping and duplicating functions will be dissolved, resulting in the elimination of their operational and maintenance costs, and their functions will be integrated into the respective line ministries. Staff currently employed by the affected corporations will be transferred to ministries and other state agencies within government. The decision to fill the position of Chief Administrative Secretaries is hereby suspended. The number of advisors in government shall be reduced by 50% within the public service with immediate effect. Budget lines providing for the operations of the Office of the First Lady, the spouse of the Deputy President, and the Prime Cabinet Secretary will be removed. Similarly, the budget provisions for confidential budgets in various executive offices, including my own office, have been removed, and the budget for renovations across government reduced by 50%. Henceforth, public servants who attain the retirement age of 60 shall be required to immediately proceed on retirement with no extensions to their tenure of service whatsoever. The purchase of new motor vehicles by the government is suspended for 12 months, except for security agencies, while a new policy on transport for public officers will be developed. All non-essential travel by state and public officers is hereby suspended. No state officer or public servant shall participate in public contributions or haram fees going forward. The Attorney General is hereby directed to prepare and submit legislation to this effect and develop a mechanism for structured and transparent contributions for public, charitable, and philanthropic purposes. These measures will be followed by changes in government that I will be making shortly. We are determined to carry out this and other interventions to improve the quality, efficiency, and transparency in serving the people of Kenya and ensure that citizens receive maximum value for their resources from a public sector that prioritizes their welfare. I believe these changes will set out our country on a trajectory towards economic transformation, enabling us to achieve the strategic objectives of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda and deliver our commitment to radically enhance opportunities for all Kenyans and transform our country. Thank you very much. God bless you, and God bless our great country, Kenya. support in their education. They are now off the blacklisting roll. Our affordable housing program has now more than 100,000 housing units under construction. The first cohort I will be launching in a couple of months to new homeowners. And we have 160,000 young people across Kenya that are employed under this program. To expand manufacturing, value addition, and agro-processing as a key contributor to job creation, 18 county aggregation, and with a commitment we made to our mama mbogas. To accelerate manufacturing, last year we imposed levies on importation of clinker that can be manufactured in Kenya. We made a saving of Kenya shillings 20 billion in foreign exchange as imports of clinker dropped to almost zero. We also imposed levies on imported steel billets. And today, we have 11 steel factories that 6 years ago were closed. They have started operation, hiring 16,000 Kenyans. And last year alone, we saved 120 billion shillings in foreign exchange as a result of this intervention. Our digital transformation agenda is also on course with 17,000 government services online, while we have 274 digital hubs across Kenya with 152,000 students and digital workers in our TVETs and also in digital hubs in different parts, up and running and giving young people an income. Our universal health coverage plan has already onboarded 107 community health promoters, and the process of registration for our social health insurance fund is ongoing, on its way to launch on the new date of 1st of October 2024 that will make it possible for every Kenyan to have a health insurance, and for those suffering from critical illnesses to have access to the critical illness fund, making it possible for every Kenyan to have access to treatment without the burden of having to fund it. On the measures I announced last week, barring state and public officers from engaging in harambes, I want to inform the country that the Public Fundraising Appeals Bill is now ready for publication tomorrow. However, even with the progress we have made, I am acutely aware that the people of Kenya have very high expectations of me. And they believe that this administration can undertake the most extensive transformation in our nation's history. Recent events that necessitated the withdrawal of the finance bill, which will require a review and reorganization of our budget and fiscal management, have brought us to an inflection point. Upon reflection, listening keenly to what the people of Kenya have said, and after a holistic appraisal of the performance of my cabinet and its achievements and challenges I have today, in line with the powers given to me by Article 1521 and 1525B of the Constitution and Sections 12 of the Office of the Attorney General's Act, decided to dismiss with immediate effect and Cabinet Secretary for setting up a broad-based government that will assist me in accelerating and expediting the necessary, urgent, and irreversible implementation of the program that we have, including other radical measures and programs to deal with the burden of debt, to explore raising domestic resources and revenues, expanding job opportunities, eliminating wastage and unnecessary duplication of a multiplicity of government agencies, and slaying the dragon of corruption, consequently making the government of Kenya lean, inexpensive, effective, and efficient. During this process, the operations of government will continue uninterrupted under the guidance of principal secretaries and other relevant officials. I will be announcing additional measures and steps in due course. Thank you very much, and God bless our great country, Kenya. Asanteni sana.